Hello and welcome back to the podcast and happy belated holidays. I feel like we've been gone for a minute now. We were planning to put out an episode the week of Christmas.
Yep, sure were.
And unfortunately, as you can still hear in my voice probably right now, we both fell ill. And some of us, not to name names, are still recovering. So this might not be the longest episode ever, but we are back. It is the new year. Happy New Year. And we're excited to be back. And actually in the bonus content is where we are going to be talking about our resolutions and our predictions for 2025. So if you want to see that, make sure you join the Patreon bonus content. A quick little recap of this year we'll start with, and then we'll get into some things that we missed while we were away. I feel like this list is kind of funny because it's like short, sweet, straight to the point.
But such big things, very big moments.
You know, I actually saw somebody talk about this and they were like, at least try to make like one big thing a year happen so that like 100%. You remember that year by that thing. And for us, fortunately, a lot of big things happen.
Really? These are some of the biggest things that could happen in a person's life, and
all in one go. We weren't wasting any time. We had The Bachelorette,
which was so fun.
I know. Honestly, we were just talking about this what was that?
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we were just talking about literally how I felt 10 years younger at that time.
Oh, 100%. I don't know who I was that whole weekend.
Same. But two, it was just like such a good, perfect, couldn't ask for anything better time. Then we had the wedding, which was obviously, again, another huge milestone moment that none of us will ever forget. And Britt got a house.
I did.
That was another huge thing, which we're so excited about. And then I got pregnant and am currently. So 2025, I will be a mom. That's going to be interesting for this year. Another milestone that we're already planning for 2025, which will be on our recap for the next year.
It's wild.
I know, it's crazy. So yeah, like I said, if you want to see our predictions for this year and resolutions, make sure you check out the bonus. But let's get into some stuff that happened over Christmas.
I know. It's been a minute since we've been able to talk about anything.
I was actually so sad too because I took down our Christmas set before we sat down, and I was like, we only had our Christmas set for 2 episodes.
That's wild.
I know. So we'll definitely have to bring that back for next season, hopefully get some more use out of it. But the Lions won again.
Heck yeah, they did.
There was also Christmas football games on, and we talked about this in a previous episode. We were like not sure if Netflix was going to be able to handle it.
I was worried.
Yeah, because it was a live event, and their track record with streaming live events has not been the best, but it turned out fine, I think. I was able to watch it.
I was able to watch it. I was nervous at first because when we first turned it on,
it was blurry.
Not blurry. Was it blurry on your end?
A little bit, yeah.
So maybe, but the one thing, when we tuned in, whoever was speaking, we couldn't hear any audio. You could tell that the person was talking, and then the audio cut in at probably like 30 seconds into it. But also, when we went to go put on the game, because we probably tuned in 10, 15 minutes before the game was set to start at, I believe, 1 p.m., and the coverage, I guess, started probably a good 2 hours before the game started. And it took us all the way back to that where we said, like, tune in live. So I don't know if it was user error on our end or if it was just starting everybody off at that point, because it was then 1:05 and we're like, is the game delayed? What's going on? Because we were like passively watching it, and we had to fast forward. And that happened with another game we watched on a streaming system over the course of Christmas week.
Like it starts you at
the beginning of the coverage instead of where they're at.
I wonder if that's like a streaming platform thing.
It could be. It very well could be, or user error, one of the two. But it was kind of nice, like, oh, you can rewind. And I mean, I guess you could do that on a real TV too, but...
Well, it ended up, for the most part, I guess, working out, which is good because they're also, and they were kind of plugging this a little, they're starting like every Monday, they're going to do WWE streaming on, like the WWE SmackDown Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Every Monday streaming. And I feel like a lot of people, especially like internationally too, watch WWE.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's huge.
it's going to be maybe potentially more viewers. Not 100% sure, but obviously these football games, everyone was home for the holidays, probably had them on, and it seems to have worked out. So that was good. And then also we got a little Beyonce performance at the halftime show, which I didn't know until I turned the game on.
I had found out maybe like a day or two prior, and it felt like it came out of left field. I was like, oh my gosh, they're not just having a performance, they're having Beyonce and her performance, which granted all of her performances are phenomenal, but I guess I wasn't anticipating for it to be a Super Bowl production because that rivaled many of Super Bowl performances.
Right. That's what I was going to say. That was literally, that's all I pictured. I'm like, this looks like a Super Bowl performance. But also I feel like it's kind of a different ballgame when you have a streaming service involved, because obviously Netflix was able to budget and pay, like, they probably paid big bucks for a lot of these things that occurred.
Totally. They had a lot going on.
Yeah, they had so much going on. So I wonder if that was, one, how they got Beyonce, and two, why it was such a good production. And obviously they were running ads, and it's a little bit different too. I think it's kind of similar to the Super Bowl, where you know that people are going to watch the ads because it's like a live event and streaming, so you can sell the ads for more money. So they probably got...
And they gave so many of them to their own selves. Like they had the people from Squid Games and the masks at the physical game in like the concourse. Or they weren't in seats, but they also weren't they weren't on the concourse outside of the game. You could see them from inside the stadium. They had 20 to 30 of them just waving, saying
and
hi.
That's the thing too, is like they're able to plug their own, it's like free advertising for them.
They really capitalize on it.
Stuff. But it turned out to be really, really good. And they actually took the performance, and it's a standalone special for Beyonce. So it's like Beyonce's NFL Christmas Game Day halftime show.
So smart.
Just clipped for Netflix.
That is so smart to do. I mean, they did. I think that they blew everyone's expectations out of the water with the game start to finish. The coverage was really good.
Yeah, it worked out. And then also I thought this was interesting, and we have not ever covered this before.
Which is crazy.
Right.
Because we've talked about it in real life.
I don't know how we missed this, but so quarterbacks every year for Christmas gift their offensive lines gifts, and a lot of them will go like above and beyond and do crazy stuff. So we never talked about this.
No.
But a couple of the ones that happened this year, our not so man right now at the moment, Joe Burrow, gifted his O-line samurai swords.
Which apparently the O-line, he was asking them what they wanted, and they wanted guns. And he said, well, maybe let's not do the guns.
So they
samurai swords. He stayed in the weapon category. That was creative. I was like, okay. I guess that's something different.
It's very different. It seems very specific and niche.
It does.
But apparently when they were all asked about it, they were very happy with those gifts. The Packers' Josh Jacobs wrapped up custom diamond pendants for the linemen, so they all had their numbers on them. Eagles running back Saquon Barkley went in with the quarterback Jalen Hurts on gifts, and they bought each one a personalized golf cart.
That's sick.
Customized with the player's last name and number, which I feel like this is such a good one. And when I was reading, I can't remember who it was, but somebody did do this in the past for their gift.
I've seen that.
I want to say it was Patrick Mahomes.
I think it might have been. That is a sick gift. That I think is maybe my top from this year, gifts that went out. But I did see, I can't remember if this was something that happened this year. It's not on this list that we have, or if it was a previous year and it just resurfaced. Somebody got custom arcade games for each of the all linemen.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so it was whatever team they were. I want to say they got them arcade games, and it was really cool.
That is so cool. And then the 49ers, Brock Purdy, went with a corporate sponsorship for his gift, but thanks to Toyota, he gave the linemen either a Toyota Sequoia or a Toyota Tundra. So they all got trucks.
I feel like we'll see more of that in year to come.
Oh, 100%. Because it kind of made some headlines. So I feel like now companies are going to be like, okay,
reaching
let's
out
do
to
this.
the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think that with the quarterbacks and with, if you've seen any of the TikToks of the wags, the wives of the NFL players, will do their Christmas parties and they'll all get each other like their favorite thing.
They'll do the favorite things, gifting.
Yes, and there's the big hauls. I'm like, I bet businesses are going to start reaching out and gifting wag stuff to gift at the parties.
Oh, 100%. And then Aaron Rodgers had a tailor come in and measure all of the linemen for a custom Tom Ford suit. He also got them sunglasses, cologne, a Louis Vuitton passport holder, a stereo speaker, and a bottle of bourbon. I feel like this is so, not to this level, but I felt this deep down because I was just talking about this with somebody. It might have even been you, or maybe it was Matt, but I was saying how when I give someone a gift, I feel like there has to be other things in the gift that go with it, or it's not like a complete thought.
Yes, it needs elements that contribute to the gift,
and it's
for it
my
to be
downfall.
cohesive.
It is like a downfall of mine when I'm gifting something, because really, like, you don't need to get that many things for somebody, but also I'm like, it feels like an incomplete thought if I don't get like the supplementals that go with this. And this is how I feel like he probably felt. Like, if I just do this tailor in the suit,
it's not enough.
It's not like a thought, a cohesive thought.
It's just one thing. No, and I saw a TikTok very similar to this of somebody, I think they were at Target the day before Christmas or the day before Christmas Eve. They were like, suddenly all my gifts are not complete thoughts and they need like an additional this or that to add to them to make them a full gift. And I fall into that every year. I feel like every year I am really good about getting the base part of gifts early on, and I'm so excited about them. And then I look at them when I go to wrap, I'm like, no, this is not.
I did that. Like, an example of this that I did, I gifted a crock pot to somebody who's like getting
cute,
like, moving. And then I was like, wait, I need to get cookbooks. I need to get a couple kitchen utensils.
Yep.
And now it's
a gift.
So I feel like that's maybe what Aaron Rodgers went through here. Jared Goff got the Lions a Yeti package with a ton of Wagyu steaks and beef.
That's fun.
Which I feel like that's actually so useful.
Like, it is. Because, I mean, in a lot of these players, like, they have money or they make a decent income, but to get them something that they're like 100% going to use and love and like wouldn't necessarily think to buy on their own. Like, who thinks to buy themselves Wagyu?
Probably
not me.
Okay, and then the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, gave his a red Yeti cooler with a Rolex watch, Oakley sunglasses, Lucchese boots, and those big like recovery boots that you put on your legs.
Oh, I've seen those.
That I feel like is also a pretty good gift for especially football players. And like I said last year, he supposedly did like the golf carts and the golf clubs.
Right.
All great ideas and good gifts.
Truly.
And then the Bills' Josh Allen actually got gifts from his linemen instead of giving gifts. I mean, I'm not sure if he also gave a gift. It didn't say, but I guess they started this tradition last year. And then this year, they also kept up with the tradition and they all went in on a custom diamond necklace of his number with MVP on the nameplate because he's been up for MVP this year. So they all think he should win it. And then they put like all their names on the back of it.
That's cute. I love a sentimental gift.
So that was a turn of events. I also saw somewhere, and I'm not exactly sure who it was. I didn't look into this, and it wasn't on any of the lists. But I saw that one of the quarterbacks actually went back and got
the high school jerseys
for his linemen, which is such a thoughtful gift. And they were all like so excited. And he did the research, like found out where they went, got it made for them. So I thought that was cute too. Speaking of the NFL, on Taylor Swift's birthday, the NFL actually honored Taylor Swift by sharing a romantic video with her and Travis Kelce. And it had like clips of the couple
that's cute
together, which is cute. And then also Travis Kelce threw her Eras themed 35th birthday party.
It looked so fun, looked so fabulous. Everybody was dressed the part. There was friendship bracelets. It seemed like it was a great time.
I feel like it's so funny because she's so huge and like these are such big pop culture things that happened because of her, and for like someone in her life to like take it and make like a little
birthday
party out of it. I feel like it's so simple, but like no one would think to do that because like it's just such a huge moment, but like she doesn't get to experience it.
Right. She doesn't experience the Eras Tour in the same way that
People get
to experience the Eras Tour.
So to like bring that to her, it's like so simple. Like who wouldn't think of that? But like
could easily be thought over if you weren't.
Yes. I feel like it was such a cute idea, such a like fun thing to do. And I guess there was like friendship bracelets all over all the tables and like everyone dressed in different eras themes. So that was really cute. And then speaking of an end of an era, we said goodbye to 2024.
We sure did.
New Year's Eve. We spent New Year's together.
We did.
And unfortunately, this was so wild of us, but I think it just...
What did we do?
We were not thinking clearly.
Oh, gosh. I know what you're going to say.
We turned on, like, the first New Year's Eve thing we saw on TV, which was Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. And that is, like, the huge one that comes on every single year. And so, but we turned it on and, like... I'm going to blame my pregnancy brain because I can, but like, I don't know what we were all thinking collectively.
And I feel like the thought vastly flickered through my brain as
to like check another channel.
Right.
We didn't. And so we turned this on and we're like, oh my God, where's Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper? And instead of maybe doing some research, looking at other channels, Google. We just kept on the one we had on and thought that they weren't there.
And we're like, oh.
But in fact, no, they had another on CNN. They hosted the New Year's Eve celebration, and they had a lot going on in their thing that we missed.
I'm so mad because I started seeing the TikTok clips the day following. I was like, we just must have tuned in too late. And we had it on for a good while.
We had it on for a while, and we just thought they weren't there. But anyways,
I thought their time came and went, and then it was just Ryan Seacrest.
Nope, it was on a different channel, and they were doing their iconic things as they always do. They had an interview with Diplo, actually, like live in the moment, and it went viral like the next day because supposedly he was talking about how he was on LSD.
He did.
And this was a live broadcast, and it's so funny because
he was so serious.
He was
too.
So serious, and I saw so many people being like, how is it 2025 and we still don't have delays in broadcast to the point where we can like edit things out when they're live?
Crazy things being said on their broadcast.
I saw that. And so so apparently Diplo went on and talked with them and admitted that this was actually their 8th time hosting. They were allowed to drink this year,
which I hope that they continue to do that. That is their right.
They took lots of shots with different celebrities and guests who came on and talked to them. And this was interesting. I didn't know this, but so in Times Square, the ball drop began in 1907.
Damn.
And that was the first time they did a ball drop. In 1904, though, 3 years earlier, is when they actually started like having gatherings in Times Square.
Was added in later.
And then the ball was added in. And then actually after this year, this 2025 ball drop was the last time the ball is being retired, and they're doing a brand new ball next year. So it will be a completely different design.
I'm very interested to see how they'll zhuzh it up.
Yeah, very interesting. I know this year they did add like different crystals and stuff, and they changed it a little bit and like modified it, but it's completely going away, and a whole new one is being brought in. It says that it's going to go onto the lower floors of the building that's over there as a part of a immersive arts and culture exhibit.
That's cool. So like that will be its home, and then that will be for New Year's Eve it'll have its moment.
Yep.
What an interesting just concept.
It is so interesting. Part of me wants to know like why a ball drop. So many other places also do New Year's experiences.
They all seem cooler than the ball dropping, honestly.
Yeah, like I know Paris does like some big light up thing on the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Other places will do like huge fireworks displays. The fireworks make sense to me in a way.
Yep.
All that kind of makes sense to me in a way. Utilizing like the actual iconic buildings and like spaces of a place like the Eiffel Tower makes sense. The ball specifically, I don't really see what they were doing there.
Seems kind of...
It's become iconic in its own way.
Right. Over
but it
time.
seems a little random to begin with.
I want to know who made this decision. And I'm sure, again, quick Google search and I could find this information out. Probably not going to look into it. But, like, who the why.
This is what I hope doesn't happen, though. I hope with this new ball, because they're saying it's going to be like a more digitally interactive ball.
Oh gosh,
I hope they don't make it
on
like an ad or like some kind of
I'm sure they
mini
will.
sphere.
I'm sure that they will, because who was the big sponsor? Planet Fitness.
Yes,
I'm sure they'll plaster Planet Fitness on every square inch of it and drop it, and it's like, for what? Really?
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be an ad.
I hope that doesn't happen when they remake the ball. But this was actually funny. I saw this when I was looking up some information about New Year's Eve in New York. I thought you specifically would like to hear this. Apparently, starting at $729,
what a deal.
You could have gotten a spot at the Applebee's in Times Square to have yourself a little mini experience.
If I were to want to spend $729 on New Year's Eve specifically, that is probably
not where you would go.
No.
People were commenting that, like, if you probably got one of everything on their menu, it wouldn't equal $729.
I mean, I understand that they do have, like, prime viewing, but also, like, if I'm spending that, am I getting a window seat? Or am I just going to be within the restaurant and not really be able to see?
Good question.
And then have traffic on the way out.
Was not available online. I did look into it, but supposedly this was the package you could get there. I'm sure that a lot of places downtown do similar package deals. And for me, I guess, like, if you were going, we talked about this. If you were going, it would be worth it in the sense of you'd have access to, like, a bathroom, food, drink, warmth. Yeah. Because a lot of people, as we know, and we've talked about in the past, wear diapers and stuff because you can't have access, if you're just the public, to any of the restrooms, and they don't have porta potties or anything like that out.
It's crazy that there's not a better system, because I've seen also clips of them opening up the gates and people just making a mad dash to be the closest to the ball, the stage, all of the things.
And none of it looks enticing to me personally.
No, they're always freezing. I know this year they talked like, oh, it's more bearable. It was like 40 degrees. That's what you want to do on New Year's Eve? I have a long list of things that I would rather do on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Besides that, but to each their own.
To each their own, exactly. I don't know if it's worth all that to watch the ball drop, but let's talk about some things we have been watching instead. Which we kind of mentioned earlier. Squid Games 2 is out, and it's breaking new Netflix records.
Is it? That doesn't surprise me.
Me either. Have you started watching it?
No, and it came out the day after Christmas, and I was set that was what I was going to do that night. Start watching Squid Games, and Brian and I have yet to start, but I'm sure maybe this weekend we'll sit down and binge all the episodes.
We did start it. We're on, I think, episode 5 now.
Oh, wow. You're following. There's 7 episodes total.
I know. We are making our way through.
Is it good? Better or worse than season 1?
No, it's just as good to me.
Okay.
I mean, I'm fully invested, fully interested. When it first came out, it racked up 68 million views in the premiere week.
That's insane.
Blowing away. Wednesday was the previous title record holder with 50.1 million views. So it got almost 20 million more views than Wednesday. And last time it came out, it actually set a record by being the first Netflix season to debut at number 1 in 92 regions.
That's intense.
For the service. And it's I feel like it's well deserved. I like it. It's so interesting.
It is
and
very
weird
interesting
and like just good.
It is.
It's a unique thought, and I feel like we don't get too much.
We don't get enough unique thoughts in this world.
We really don't. Like, it's just a unique.
No, you're not
concept.
wrong. It really is. And I watched a recap of season 1 recently because I always remembered it being good. But then when I sat back and they laid out all the details of season 1, I was like, oh my gosh, like That was a really great show.
Well, I feel like it took a while to catch on for season 1 because even for
It
us
did.
personally, I remember like putting it on and actually having no clue what it was about.
Right.
And the actual shock in the moment of like watching this.
The first scene of the first games, I
Yes.
was not anticipating that.
I had no clue what to expect. So
Same.
watching it, actually, I remember being like, oh my God.
Taken
this is
back.
actually wild. And then same thing, I feel like with season 2, you kind of like re-experience the shock.
Do you?
I did. And I was like, oh my gosh, I remember how wild this was. But it's
Interesting.
It's a beating the records out that it has been setting. And also newly added to Netflix is the movie that started a lot of drama in 2024.
And it's continuing into 2025.
Yeah, it ends with us. It's funny because it has not ended.
Nope.
The Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively drama continues.
New information, I swear, by the minute on this.
I know. And honestly, I'm not drawing any conclusions or any opinions on like
Same.
Who is who and the situation.
I have no opinion until we have all of the facts.
And it feels like it's going to be a while before all of them come out. They're actually getting real court involved, which I don't know. I feel like even still, it's the court of public opinion is really what they're trying to persuade with 100%. These new court documents.
And people are taking sides now.
They are. So it started with Blake Lively filed a complaint against Justin Baldoni, which, to be fair, a complaint is not an actual lawsuit. It's just a complaint. And so a lot of people are saying, like, you can really put anything in a complaint until it becomes, like, an actual lawsuit. It's not really anything, which is what Justin Baldoni turned around and filed in response, which was a $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times. So we'll see how this one plays out. The Times right now is standing by its reporting as of late, allegedly. And we will see how it plays out. There's, like you said, a lot of information, both
there
the
is.
complaint and
I've read
the
a lot
lawsuit.
of text messages between the two, mainly because I was just curious as to like how celebrities text with each other and like that situation. Like I was like, so because I mean Blake Lively's friends with Taylor Swift, and I was like, so is this like kind of like how she texts Taylor? Like I don't know. I feel like everyone in the world has their own like texting personality and style, and I was just interested in stylistic texting itself. So they a lot of weird things that they do. Like Justin in his text, like he'll randomly capitalize words that don't need to be capitalized, like mid-sentence.
Do you think that it's autocorrect, or do you think it's like actually him choosing to capitalize?
I don't know. It seems like laziness to me.
Oh. I mean, texting is the place to do it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Or like they'd like miss words. Like I was trying to understand some of the text messages they were sending. I'm like, they just make no sense. Like they're not complete
I kind of know what you mean, because I remember reading it, and it's kind of like how you would write yourself a note. But
right,
like
there's words missing.
Like it's not a full sentence. It's just like, do this. Okay. Like, I know what you mean. It's very like incomplete thoughts. I'm wondering if it's just because it was supposed to be like a work environment. So you're kind of like, I would
never text somebody from work.
You have
like
you have a different thing going at your work. But yeah, I feel it is weird to read the text, but also it's coming out now that like kind of texts are being taken out of context and
or manipulated, changed, which you can do. It's not hard to do.
Yeah, so we will see how it plays out. But I will say, just hearing a $250 million lawsuit against specifically the New York Times, because that was what a lot of people were saying. Like in a complaint, you have to, if you're actually gonna turn it into a lawsuit, you have to name like who you are gonna be suing,
right?
And in Blake Lively, she never mentioned like who was supposedly responsible for slandering her, as far as like who published it, where was the slander. That was never really mentioned.
No.
And with he's specifically saying, no, you went to this publication to do this, and kind of laid it all out. So people are thinking like this is a little bit more serious and well thought out than just a complaint. So we will see what happens. I think it's going to be a long process.
Right. This is going to, probably won't end until
it'll take up
the
most of
entire year.
2025, unfortunately. So we will see what happens. But that is their little shady thing they've got going. But we figured for this week's Shady Stories, we could share some of 2024's top shady moments that went on instead of some shady stories. Also, though, make sure you keep writing in your shady stories so we have some going into this new year. But starting with one, these are in no particular order, by the way. These are just things that happen. The Willy Wonka experience that took 2024 by storm, that ended up being a not so immersive experience. Similarly, Detroit's Bridgerton Ball experience.
Oh, that was so bad.
Which also ended up being kind of a mess. We had Ray Gun at the Paris Olympics.
A true icon.
A true icon came out of 2024. That was so shady at the time. And I feel like we need to do a 2025 whole deep dive update on what is going on.
Where is Ray Gun now?
Where is she now? But that was a big pop culture moment for this year. Chaperone, just in general, period, was a big 2024 moment.
Everything she did was a headline.
But a little bit of shade when she yelled at the paparazzi on the red carpet. That was a fun time. Also, J-Lo, like, cancellation, but not really. Which all kind of started because she made the movie about herself.
Yeah, and then Blake Lively kind of took the heat off of her.
Yep, and then things switched over.
Tough. You hate to see it, really.
You really do. Risa Tisa's Who the F Did I Marry series took TikTok by storm, inspired many a shady story being shared on the app. Wicked, of course, and holding space for Defying Gravity, but also holding space for Wicked in 2024.
I just bought it.
And now, yeah, it's out on streaming services. Where is it?
I think it's only for purchase right now, rent or buy, and I got mine on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Because that's where I will go to, like, if I can't find a movie that I really love on a streaming service, or if it's just one where it's constantly moving streaming services and it's pissing me off because I'm something I watch regularly, like The Hunger Games. Those bad boys get moved from streaming service to streaming service, and I watch them almost on a monthly basis. Regularly. They are a comfort movie of mine, and that is very odd. But those are like, I have them on Amazon Prime because then I just know they're there. And now Wicked, that's going to become a comfort movie. I've already watched it twice since purchasing it last night.
I think it came out like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's good to know. I was kind of shocked of how quickly it went to streaming.
I feel like they got to be trying to, like, push for a record or something. Okay. Some kind of statistic with how quickly it came out, because it's still in theaters.
Oh, wild.
Yeah, you can still go to the movies, which it's, or maybe it's a money thing. It was a little pricey to buy.
Oh, okay. Well, good to know. Also in 2024, a big thing, this was kind of ending out the year, Domingo on SNL. We do think he'll be a character that comes back in 2025 regularly. So
yes, we've not seen the last.
And there was a little bit of shadiness going on with that whole thing, because people thought like maybe him and Sabrina Carpenter were getting together.
People still think that, and it could happen. But SNL's about to celebrate their 50th season or something crazy, or being on for 50 years. Maybe not 50th season. Maybe it's 50 years. They're having some kind of big anniversary special coming up, so I wonder if Domingo will make an appearance there.
Interesting. Also 2024, we had Very Demure, Very Mindful,
which I feel like that phase came and went
real quick.
All too quickly. We should have stayed there a little longer.
We didn't stay demure and mindful for very long.
No.
The pop girlies ruled 2024, I will say. We had Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, Brat Summer, the Eras Tour,
Moo Dang,
which I guess
pop girly
if we say so. Lots of pop taking
Girl
over.
Power.
Yep. And honestly, I don't know what else we're missing. I feel like those were a lot of the big ones that happened in 2024. And for some reason, those are so fresh in my mind. I feel like what happened at the beginning of 2024.
No.
There's
no this all feels like almost second half of the year, big moments. And we looked high and low.
Yeah, to like refresh our memories of things. And I'm like, nothing happened at the beginning of the year. But maybe everyone just kind of like was being very demure and mindful at the beginning of the year.
It's hard to say It truly is. And I've asked like ChatGPT, I asked it like 5 different ways. Can you give me the shadiest story or like the biggest pop culture moments of 2024 by month of what happened each month and what was the big and every time
It was wrong.
it was wrong, and it kept categorizing things in like different places, and then I would tell it, no, that's wrong. Like, for example, Mudang was not popular until like X month, or like Raygun, they kept putting her in like February, and I'm like, that's crazy because the Olympics weren't till July.
Yeah, it was not getting it correct, but also I feel like maybe ChatGPT itself was kind of a big moment for 2024.
It was, but it does not get pop culture well at all.
No, it's a little confused about that.
It doesn't understand pop culture, which maybe that's good. Maybe that's job security for people
For
like us.
for us to talk about it. But no, that actually concludes this week's episode of all of our little pop culture recaps. We will be back next week with more things going on in our lives and in pop culture. If you want to see our resolutions and our predictions for 2025, make sure you join the Patreon for that bonus content, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.